if you don't know already, we've had a look at the tier 12 set bonuses for druids. We looked at feral, balance, resto, and visually how the sets actually look. Now, some of the set bonuses we're going to get during Firelands are absolutely insane. Not all of them. Some of them are a little bit boring, don't get me wrong, but some of them are just so much better than what we're used to from tier 11. So one class, each video, and today is Paladin. First of all, like I said when it came to resto druids, every healing 2 set has some form of mana return. For Holy Paladins, it revolves around Holy Shock. So your 2 set means healing with Holy Shock has a 40% chance to grant you 6% of your base mana. Now this is around 1.4k mana, so it nearly makes your Holy Shock completely free when it procs. And on the basis it's 40%, obviously going to proc quite a lot. Not to mention when you get things like Daybreak proc, so you can use 2 Holy Shocks back to back, just profit. What you'll also notice as we work our way through all of the healing classes, the 4 set is normally some form of smart secondary heal. What I mean by this is for Holy, your Divine Light, Flash of Light and Holy Light spells also heal an additional injured nearby target within 15 yards for 10% of the amount healed. Now, while this won't be humongous heals for things like Holy Light, when you're doing a big Divine Light and somebody probably in melee, because you'll be Divine Light in the tank, for example, and then you're going to have a beacon, which is going to heal somebody else, and a third person is now going to get 10% of that heal just as a smart heal, which will probably be a melee or someone that's nearby that's taking damage. It's actually just amazing. This is just pure extra healing, which requires no thought. It just requires you to wear the 4 set. Compared to some of the other classes, 10% of these heals does seem a little bit on the cheap side, but again, as we work through all of the classes, that will become abundantly clear. Then on to Prop Paladin. Now, both of these set bonuses are not particularly exciting, but I honestly don't think any of the tank set bonuses are particularly exciting, because they all revolve around 2 set giving you more threat and 4 set giving you more survivability, which I suppose when I say it's not that exciting is kind of exciting because they're the 2 main things you need to do as a tank. But yeah, so for your 2 set, your Shield of the Righteous deals 20% additional damage as fire damage. Now, if you watch the Druid video, you know that there's a dot that gets placed on the target from the 2 set when you use Mangle, Maul or Shred. This is not actually the same. This is not a dot, this is direct damage. So when you press Shield of the Righteous, you'll see 2 damage events. You'll see your main Shield of the Righteous damage, and then another portion which is the 20% additional damage as fire damage. Now, all of this fire damage from these 2 sets benefit from things like spell damage taken on the boss and all of that jazz, so don't quote me on that, because again, when you go and buy sort of private server information for some of this stuff, it can be a bit janky, but it absolutely should. And then for the 4 set, much like all the other tanks that get the same benefit or similar benefit, when your Divine Protection expires, you gain an additional 12% parry chance for 10 seconds. Now, this is really nice because when you use Divine Protection, you're now going to take 20% less damage or 40% less magic damage, depending on how you're using it. So when that finishes, now you've got another 12 seconds of extra parry. So this turns a 10-second cooldown into a 22-second cooldown, even though the second portion of it is nowhere near as strong as the first. But this does just mean you can have stuff up for quite a long time, because from when you pop Divine Protection and it goes on cooldown, you're not going to have that much downtime between the parry ending and then you being able to use it again. 38 seconds, you've got other cooldowns that you can use in between there, or times where you're not taking that much damage anyway. Like I said, neither of the protection ones are the most exciting thing in the world, but they're still solid. And then finally, for Rep Paladins. Now, for anyone who knows, I play a lot of Rep Paladins, so I probably will be a bit biased, but the 4 set Rep is absolutely bonkers. But starting with the 2 set. Your Crusader Strike deals 15% additional damage as fire damage over 4 seconds, but this works exactly the same as the Feral 2 set does and many other classes as we work our way through them, where it puts a dot on the target, and every time you press Crusader Strike, it's just going to be a flat 15% of the damage you dealt as fire damage over 4 seconds. You use Crusader Strike a lot, and it's just extra damage on Crusader Strike for nothing. I mean, 15%. If you had anything that gave you 15% extra damage with your Builder or Spam ability, or however you want to put it, you'd take it. But the 2 set is actually really strong. 4 set wise though, it increases the duration of your Zealotry ability by 15 seconds. That is another 15 seconds of burst. For anyone who hasn't seen a Rep Paladin's burst potential on the opener, it's pretty bloody strong. Now, this puts your Zealotry up to 35 seconds. A 35-second burst cooldown on only a 2-minute CD. Now, of course, you line Zealotry and Avenging Wrath up together because ordinarily they last the same amount of time, and of course you'll be using things like Gift of the Ancient Kings beforehand to stack the strength, and you ordinarily use Guardian first, so you get the strength stacked, and then you'll Zealotry and Avenging Wrath together. Well, actually, without cheesing the 4-set tier 11 to get a longer Guardian, it only lasts 30 seconds, so your Zealotry actually lasts longer than your Guardian of Ancient Kings now, so you can Guardian of Ancient Kings and Zealotry together once you've got your 4-set, and after about 10 seconds of both of those being up, then you'll Avenging Wrath. So then the last 20 seconds of Guardian of Ancient Kings, you're going to have your Avenging Wrath up, but you're also still going to have Zealotry. Zealotry becomes your longest cooldown, which is kind of bonkers. And then I suppose you want to just know, will I look cool using my tier 12 set, or do I need to transmog it away? I personally think it looks really cool. You can see a lot of fire coming off of the shoulders and the headpiece. It is predominantly the headpiece that actually causes all that fire, like you can see here when the head comes off. There is actually still some fire around the shoulders, but I think it's quite a cool tier set. I mean, you do you, but I would probably use this. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Consider joining the channel as a member. If you don't know, in the next week or so, I'm going to be starting MOP Classic content, getting you ready for MOP, but it is only going to be members only because I'm having to start very, very early, and I'm not really ready to post them to everyone, but they will eventually go out to everyone for free anyway. But if you're a member, you'll just get to see them sooner than everybody else. I hope you enjoyed the video. As I say, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.